It keeps on being an amazing fact that we can see all those things that don't exist. It is visible and touchable, and we can see even distance. It is just image in the mind. But the mind is so flexible, it can make distance in the image on the screen of its own fantasy. It makes depth and width, large and broad and far and distant and high and low. And all those dimensions have their own structure. The lowest is the earth. It is vast and it is formed. It is concrete. You can walk on it. And the most subtle is air. And we live grace to this air. But all of this does not exist. It is just mind. It is so, it keeps on a mystery. Amazing. The mind makes up all the images and then starts to believe in its own fantasy, even that much that the fantasy can bother the mind. It's so funny that all this is happening. This is not happening. Wow, where does it come from? It's not existing, but it seems so real that we think it exists. It's the mind itself, it's the mind itself that makes the images and then wonders where they come from. What a silly game. But it is so real that every made-up form in this mind game is making war with the other made-up form. And then we need a God to pray that he can help the forms that kill each other to make them see that they are just fantasy. Oh my goodness, it is so amazing. It's the deeper you see through this screen of the mind, the more you understand it is just phantoms, and the more you see the depth of the free field with no images. That free emptiness, which did not make an image, couldn't know it was a free field of emptiness. So it had to make up fantasy, to make up forms, and then realize, oh my goodness, I thank God I am not that forms there that I made up, but I am the free field. And this all is, we are so far lost in this moving part of the fantasy that we really fight to hold on and to not let go. And whatever happens in this world with war and horrible things. But if you withdraw from it to your real emptiness, where this comes from, it's just in the day when we seem to be awake that it appears, because it doesn't appear, but it seems so. And in the deep sleep, there is no image. There is nothing. There we are in this free field of our own emptiness. And this free field, we can see it as the unmoving, eternal silence. And in India they call this, to have more idea and to understand better, they call it the male force, which is unmoving, stable. And out of this comes the vibration, the moving force, the Shakti path, they call it. They call the silent male force, this possibility, they call it the Shiva. And out of this Shiva comes the Shakti, the moving part, the creation. Out of the silence comes the creation, the image. It's all image. But Shiva and Shakti can never know each other because they are separated. This silent, unmoving male entity or force or power creates itself the vibration, which is called the Shakti, the female part, and that is the moving part of the silent Shiva. Shiva and Shakti are one, but they don't know each other, and still they need each other. The silence needs the movements to know it is silent, and the movements need the silence that to understand they are moving away from the silence so they can return. It's all in the mind. It's all a play in the mind of the one great power of possibility. There is a field full of, it's empty, but it is full of possibility. And in the possibility, it can create movements. That's the way, that's us. And then by moving, we are longing to the peace, the silence. So we return. It's all happening in the day. In the morning you wake up and then the creation starts. But we don't know it, we are not aware, we are ignorant. And then we think we are this separated form and blah blah. It's, you see in the world how it goes. I am me and you are you and we, blah blah. We are not equal, I must take care of me. That's the most far away from the creation. The most far gone from the source. You see how the world is. That's why Shiva came in the form of Sai Baba. He came to help people understand what they are doing. They are destroying themselves. And they are destroying the earth, and they are destroying the whole creation with the poison of their minds, and the whole world is going under by greed. So Baba needed to come to show the way to the people and to teach them what they are in reality. That in reality they are this God, this silence field, this unmoving part. And we long so much to this silence and the peace, but we try to find it on a holiday and in well, you know, we are so lost. That's why Sai Baba came to teach us. He came twice and he will come again, because one life with God is not enough to save the world. He came as Shirdi Baba and as Satya Sai Baba, and now he soon will be here as Prema Baba. The world needs this power because it will be destroyed. But as it is all imagination, it's a game, it didn't even happen. Only we think it happened, and we think we are separated, and we think we suffer, and we think we need to return to the peace. And that's why the mind made up this whole game, and the God came to save us. So you can better listen. When you still feel you are separated, you better listen to the wise words and the wisdom, and you will feel it come from inner self. It will grow, and the greed will go, and the separation will disappear. And you will be so peaceful because you feel it from the inners. It is inside. All this is inside. The whole spectacle is inside in the screen, on the screen of your own mind. But it is not your mind as the person that you think. It is the mind of the greed, empty field that made up the movements. So we are both silence and creation, the movements of the creation. And the moment you merge and enter the silence, it is as if Shiva and Shakti became one. And Shiva, the power of possibility, the emptiness, and Shakti, the power of the creation, merge like the shadow of the night merges with the morning light. Both of them are gone in each other. That's the beauty of the mind. It's the pearl of bringing wisdom. The pearl of wisdom is in our hearts, because the mind comes from the heart, the place of creation. That's the freedom. The mind merges with the heart, and that's the utmost bliss. So it's all happening inside this great field that you are, where you play in. You play your role in your own big field of possibility. These words just arise from that field. I hope people will understand and feel it and be happy. What Sai Baba says of the creation, of the manifestation, he says that the silent, stable part, the giving entity, is the Shiva, the male force, and the receiving force is Shakti, the female. That's in creation. We can see that very well, because Shiva, the male, gives, and the woman, the female, receives, for making creation possible, for growth, for the development of humanity. It's the male that gives and the female that receives. And for us, this is only understandable at the level of sexuality. But what Baba means goes much deeper, of course. He is the creator. He is that which makes possible, and the vibrating part of him is the receiving part. It's the female part. So the male gives and the female receives. And the male is the plus, the giver, and the female is the minus, the receiver. So the plus and the minus together are the wholeness. They have to merge to be one. You must have the image, the idea of those forces, a giving force and a receiving force. It has nothing to do with the one is giving and the other is the receiver. That is the poor one. No, it's the two sides of the oneness. One is the silence possible, and the other is the manifestation of that possibility. It's the two sides of the oneness, but they can never meet until they merge. That's what the people on the earth know. If they merge in each other, they are so extremely happy, but it only is for a while on that moment. But it is much deeper, that when it is realized in the soul, that's the whole meaning of being male or female, being the one or being the other. When they merge together, that is the real happiness, the realization, the self. It's not divided anymore. This is so beautiful to understand, and it will bring you so deep wisdom. You will understand so much more about the fightings on earth and the suppression of the women, because the men are afraid of the power of the female, of the women. Because the women are so strong, because they can endure so much. And the male has the power of the muscles and the stronger mind. He rules. But the women are much stronger, because they can put their mind aside and receive. It is much softer force. It is a strength. And when those two merge in each other, it's the ultimate bliss. And that's the whole idea of the creation, which is only an imagination in the mind of that which is. It's in you, it's in me, it's in male, it's in female. It's all over in the world, but we don't know it. So that's why it is created, to understand what you are. You are the both in one. We have, as women, we have a lot of strength in us, that we can do things, and that's the male side, the male part in us. And as men, they have the soft side, to be capable of feelings and emotions and compassion. That is the female side, the soft side in the man. Those two sides have to become one in each person. And then bliss, happiness, ananda, because it's both in you. It is just a play that it is divided. It's all in the mind. Mind didn't understand its own fantasy and believed it was true. Oh my goodness. The bliss is waiting for you. If you understand, you merge in the bliss.